still gotta do Belvin tonight. What?
The kid was coming 2 days after our last meeting and I hadn't seen you.
They're elected. I'm
I am
just
tired.
tired. I gotta go
I
to
just,
Belleville
they
soon,
gotta
then I
come
gotta go
back,
to Livonia
they
soon.
gotta finish some, a little bit of insurance, but other than that,
For the
we're solid.
cities. I'm not doing a lot.
You're not running against nobody in Belleville.
What's that?
Running against nobody in Belleville.
I know, I'm gonna be quick candidate. Hi, congratulations.
Where they gonna be at?
I'll be there myself.
What's that?
Where they at?
This thing, 519 Main Street.
19.
Oh,
You're gonna be where?
519 Main Street tonight. It's Belleville's thing.
Oh, yeah, that's at the, it's at the Benet Place, whatever the,
It's cafe and bakery.
right next to the Rustic Crow. Yeah.
Okay,
it's in that triangle.
What's that
okay.
called?
Gloria's.
There you go.
Dean's.
I'd be there too.
Okay.
I'd be counting.
City council is
Be
having.
finishing up the election.
Ooh. All right, we're starting in a minute here, or less.
Gonna come today?
Ah,
It's a card.
Monahan Council, Farmington Road. Monahan Council, Knights of Columbus,
Could be.
7 Mile in Farmington.
Monahan. She the one got the, she the one got the heated race. She the one has the heated race. The mayor of Livonia.
Yes, she does. I think she does. We won't, no.
That
Okay.
could go either way, I hear.
It's close. I'm calling the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We are being broadcast live, as always, on Channel 12, and we are also on YouTube, if anybody wants to watch it on that, and it's going to be on for quite a while. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Kelly? Here. Trustee Boyne? Here. Trustee Martin has asked to be excused. Trustee Frazier?
Here.
Clerk Wright is present. Cherry Bud?
Here.
Supervisor?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. First of all, we're going to go with the executive summary today. The agenda today consists of, as usual, board meeting minutes that have to be approved, along with our standard bills, our voucher list, which is like paying our electric bills and our water bill. Also, though, we have a smart contract that's being approved inside of there to continue drivers for senior citizens. There's approval of a fireworks display permit so that we can have a fireworks at the Winterfest Parade. And there's a Wayne County annual permit so we can work in the right-of-way. There's also a Van Buren Township early voting plan in there. Our new business includes a second reading of an ordinance to allow the board to modify the required minimum separation distance between group childcare homes. We're then going to have a discussion on the purchase of a John Deere compact excavator. We're going to have a discussion on the one-year amendment to the lease agreement with the University of Michigan for the rowing club at Van Buren Park. We're also going to be talking about an annual exemption opt-out for our Blue Cross Blue Shield employees. And we'll be discussing stormwater maintenance agreement with Subaru. Also, there's going to be a Class C quota liquor license for El Agave Bar and Grill that's moving into Belleville Road. And a discussion on a revocable license and operation agreement with the Van Buren Little League, which we've had for years, which uses the Beck ball fields. We're also going to be talking about Haggerty Road's water main, which is a proposal by the Fishbeck Engineering Company. And we're going to have a discussion on the purchase of a standby generator at the Harmony Road lift station and one at the water tower in the amount of $40,000. We'll also have finally discussion on the authorization of 2 agreements with Detroit Energy for street lighting in Walden Woods. Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
I have a motion, I have support. Hearing any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you. Consent agenda. Who would like to read the consent agenda and make the motion?
Chair,
Mr. Boynton.
I would like to move that we accept the following. Board minutes of October 17th, the prepaid list of October 19th, October 26th, and November 2nd, the voucher list of November 7th, all of 2023, approval of the 2024 Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation contract, approval of the Commercial Fireworks Display Permit application by Michigan Fireworks Club, approval of Resolution 2023-32 Wayne County Annual Permit, Resolution 2023-30 Van Buren Township Early Voting Plan, and approval of Resolution 2023-33 Stormwater Maintenance Agreement with Subaru Research and Development Incorporated at 50255 Michigan Avenue.
Support.
Okay, I've got a motion of support, now. I have a motion by trustee Boynton. I have support from treasurer Wright, excuse me, clerk Wright. My apologies.
You gonna give me the extra pay?
Extra pay. Do I hear any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Next is a public hearing, which we have no public hearing today. We're now into correspondence, announcements, and presentations. Does anybody from the audience have any correspondence, announcements, or presentations?
No supervisor from the public
Thank you.
participation.
Aaron,
line.
does the board members have any?
Real
Thursday.
quick. Real quick.
Okay.
We are having an election today, but it's only 2 precincts, 6 and 7. 7 and 8, I'm sorry. I keep mixing up the old precinct. 7 and 8, which is partially Lincoln's Consolidated School, which are the one that's voting today. They have a millage on the ballot, a renewal, and they also have a playground millage on the ballot. I just want to, if anyone is out there listening, I want to know that if Van Buren Township is having an election, you'll be the first to know. We will make sure that you get corresponding. We'll be sending out you'll get absentee applications anyway if you're on the list. So if you don't receive anything like that in the mail, that means that the township is not having an election, but get ready, because we got a big one coming next year.
Okay. Anybody else? I do have to make note that I believe Thursday we're celebrating Veterans Day here.
Yes.
Thursday, so the township offices will be closed on Thursday. So, all getting used to a new schedule here. All right, next item is public comment. Is anybody from the public wishing to make comment? Come forward and state your name for the public record, please.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Miller.
Could you help her with the microphone? It's too tall for you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Barbara Miller, and I have public comment to make about the proposed lease to the University of Michigan. I served originally on the committee and then for the renegotiation of the lease, and then things broke down, and the supervisor and his committee renegotiated a one-year lease. But in the short lease, I see some things that were talked about and requested. Better contact information for the University of Michigan. The township does not have good contact information. We don't know who is in charge. Somebody should be designated. And the University of Michigan in the original lease was going to notify the community about the meets and the events that the University of Michigan is involved in, and I don't see where that has been added to the lease or and I think it's missing because the community would like to participate and view their meets and events. And the problem is that the community does not have good access to that boathouse. Now, we now own the boathouse. The 25 years has passed and we own it. And so the community should have access for events, and I don't see that that's clarified in the agreement. Van Buren Township should have, definitely should have a key to the boathouse. Those are just the things that I saw when I got access to the proposed amendment. I think it's too brief. I think that the community should tighten it up a little bit with regard to these items. Thank you.
Thank you. I made notes on what you stated, so when we get to that issue. Does anybody else wish to make comment? Hearing none, we're going to keep on moving. Next item on the list is, new business. Unfinished business, we have none. New business. Line item number 1 is second reading of an ordinance which states that as a law requires a roll call vote. This would be you, Treasurer Bud?
Sure.
Treasurer Bud, line item number 1, please.
I make a motion, we approve the second reading of ordinance 10-1723 to allow the Board of Trustees to modify the required minimum separation distances between group child care home uses.
Okay, support Boynton, Trustee Boynton. Okay, Director, thank you. Take it away.
Yep, thank you, Board. This was reviewed at the last board meeting, so I'll just give a brief recap. This is a proposed couple of zoning ordinance amendment lines in our zoning ordinance text in section 5.111 of the Van Buren Township zoning ordinance to allow modification of the minimum standard separation distance of 1,500 feet between two group daycare home uses in a single area. And the reason for that is because there's an increased demonstration of an increased need for daycare in the residential settings in Van Buren Township, and that's been reinforced by the state of Michigan. So over the course of several work sessions and a public hearing with the Planning Commission, there was some language that was placed in our zoning ordinance text that allows our Planning Commission to recommend and the board to approve two group daycare homes within 1,500 feet of each other as defined under state law. Happy to answer any questions about that proposed amendment to the text.
We've seen this twice now, and we've actually seen it before that a few times. Other issues, which is why it became an ordinance. Any questions, anybody? No? Clerk, could you call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Frazier? Yes. Trustee Boynton?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly? Yes. Martin is excused. Treasurer Bud?
Yes.
Yes for me. Supervisor?
Yes.
We have a quorum. I'm sorry. Motion passes.
Thank you, Clerk.
Thank you.
Next item is a discussion on to consider approval of a purchase of a John Deere compact excavator.
Mr.
Can I-
Chair,
Mr. Trustee Boynton.
Move that we approve the purchase of a John Deere 35 P-tier compact excavator in the amount of $62,224.08 from the Water Capital Outlay Vehicle and Equipment account.
Support. Thank you. Trustee Kelly? Director, could you continue?
Yes. Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
The John Deere excavator is equipped with a 24-inch bucket, hydraulic thumb, 8-foot cab, rubber suspension, long arm extension, and angle blade. This excavator will provide ease of operations for our field staff in the repair of the township's infrastructure. So we would use this for water main breaks, for sewer line repairs, rebuild the manhole. It's just smaller, more compact, easier to work with, and it would help us with our restorations as well. And I wanted to state that this is the Michigan ideal purchase for the state of Michigan, so that's the lowest bid. And this would come out of our capital outlay vehicle and equipment.
So this is probably the third year that the Water and Sewer Group and others have asked me to purchase this piece of equipment. The other one was too big. It was breaking concrete. It was wrecking lawns. It was leading to a disaster to repair and make up. And occasionally it was used in the cemetery, and it didn't exactly do a great job there either. Our cemeteries are pretty tight. So after 3 years of saying no, I finally gave in. All right. Any other questions? How long till we get it?
They're waiting on us. We could probably have it here this week or early next week.
Is there a big ramp-up period to get used to it?
It comes with training as well.
All right, I have a motion by Trustee Boynton with support from Trustee Kelly. Hearing no further questions. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director. Next item is discussion on to consider approval of a one-year amendment of the existing ground lease agreement between University of Michigan and Van Buren Township for the half acre of land in Van Buren Park. Director, could you, actually, I need a motion to begin.
Through the chair,
Okay?
approve of the one-year amendment to the existing ground lease agreement with the University of Michigan for the premises containing approximately 0.45 acres of land in Van Buren Park.
Frazier, okay. Director, go ahead.
Good evening, Board. In 1996, Van Buren Township entered into a ground lease agreement with the University of Michigan for the property at Van Buren Park Beach, now commonly referred to as the Boathouse. Per the lease, the university was to construct the boathouse building and pole barn, and that it would be owned by the township in 2024 at the end of their 25-year lease. For the past 25 years, we've enjoyed hosting the University of Michigan and their successful and impressive women's crew team on Belleville Lake. The township has worked hard alongside the university for the past year and a half to produce an agreement for a new lease term. And although both parties did not feel comfortable with the details of a long-term ground lease extension, we've decided to present a one-year extension to the Board of Trustees for approval. As stated in the proposed amendment to the lease agreement, the lease will commence on March 22nd, 2024 and terminate on March 21st, 2025. The rent is proposed at $68,000, which is a number both parties agreed on based on a ground lease rental estimate report that was prepared for the township by Andrew Reed and Associates. So tonight we ask the board to approve the one-year extension to this ground lease agreement with the University of Michigan for the premises containing approximately 0.45 acres of land in Van Buren Park. I'd like to address Ms. Miller's comments, just so we're all on the same page. So although it's not technically spelled out in the amendment, we did talk about it at length, and Ms. Miller brought up great points about these things. The first one, the designated contact. We have established designated contacts with the University of Michigan for the on-site contact for the boathouse and also contacts in the Government Affairs Office. In terms of timeline of events and regattas, the university has promised to keep us posted as soon as the regatta schedule is finalized and that we can get that out into the community. The township does have a key to the boathouse. We often have to enter it. So the university works with us very well on that. And as far as events in the boathouse itself, right now, and it was a piece of contention in the negotiations was the ability to access the boathouse site. That site needs a lot of improvements. It's actually closed off with a gate right now, and it isn't accessible by car. There's no handicap parking available on the site right now due to the erosion issues. That's something that the township is going to have to look at dealing with in the future. So right now, we don't have it slated for any community events, but it's definitely something that we can look forward to.
Currently, the upstairs where they used to hold the Van Buren Public School Education Foundation had some events there. That area now has nothing but workout equipment in it. So although they did fix up the deck and they did put up some nice decking material, you could use the deck, outdoor deck, but the indoors is pretty much
Correct.
not usable.
Mr. Michael Rain from the Director of Community Relations from the University of Michigan is here tonight with us as well, if you'd like to say anything or if the board has any questions.
Did you want to say anything? Thank you.
The only thing I would add is, in terms of a contact person, I've been in the position for about 5 years, and our predecessor was involved with the original construction. So over that 25-year period of a mutually beneficial relationship, there's been 2 people available for the township to contact if there's any kind of a problem. So from that continuity, I don't think we've ever turned down any events that the township or a community organization wanted to hold there, at least Supervisor McNamara, not in my 5 years. Recently, the township provided us with a list of repairs that they'd like to be seen after I think a building inspector went out there, and we've taken care of some of those. We have some additional questions. We'd like to meet the inspector out there, but we've taken care of a number of them. So, we're trying to keep the relationship as positive as we can, and we're hoping the board sees a fit to extend this long-term lease, 1 more year.
So technically, we're basically living off of our original agreement from 1998. And the only real amendment in that agreement is extending it 1 year and this $68,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'm sure the board's aware of this, but we have been in discussions with the supervisor's office. I've actually met Ms. Miller before, and Elizabeth's been great to work with. So this 1 year, I think, allows for possible further discussion.
Clerk Wright?
25-year relationship.
Clerk?
I didn't hear the end of what he said. You said
I'm
something about
sorry.
infrastructure. What did you just say? I didn't hear the end of what you just said. You said something.
He said hopefully that this one-year extension will allow us to continue negotiations and continue a 25-year relation.
Yeah.
So what I heard, did I hear you say that currently the inside of the building is not usable?
Not for events.
Not for events. I remember, so I've been a township clerk for 15 years, and I do remember when they used to have events there. So my question is, why is not suitable for events, I guess?
They have workout room, I don't know that Mike Reiner knows, but they have workout equipment all throughout the upstairs floor that used to be the party floor, whatever, big, it used to be a big open space. Well, they got rowing machines now and workout equipment, and you'd have to step over that all day.
So that leads to my other question then. Well, what kind of relationship is it then if we don't have access? We have access to the building, but we can't use it for anything, so what type of relationship is it?
Well, again, if there's been an encroachment, for lack of a better term, of our equipment into areas that were designated for the public use, I'm not aware of it, and we'll rectify that situation. If there's a demand for the facility, you need those areas, we're certainly not gonna try and,
Well, it used to be an area that we could host events in, because I've been to a couple. But it's been a while, but it sounds like you say equipment is all, I haven't been in the building in a while, but it sounds like you're saying equipment is all over. Can you hear me? Sound like you're saying the buildings consist of equipment?
I have to add that it's not an accessible building, really. It's not a safe walk down that walkway. It needs stairs, it needs to be shored up, it's falling into the lake in sections. The reason the Education Foundation stopped using it was because people did not want to walk that treacherous down slope to the building. So we've never really considered using it, even though it's not usable.
Well, I guess my question is then, why can't we have some type of agreement that we get the building to the point where we can be accessible by whoever that needs to use it? If it's gonna be a community, if this is gonna be a partnership, it should be something that's usable by both partners. It should be usable by both parties. That's the way I look at it. I welcome the rowing teams and everything they do there, but it sounds like it's only used for rowing. And I don't know anything that we do there now. Unless I'm wrong. Am I incorrect?
No, that's why we're going for a 1-year extension and not another 25-year deal. We're trying to work our ways through that. You've got it exactly right.
I would love to have a continued partnership with U of M, but I think that should go both ways. Partnership shouldn't be on one side. It shouldn't be one-sided, and we shouldn't be left to make all the improvements. If we're gonna make improvements to the building, it should be a partnership thing. Whatever needs to be done, if we're gonna do something, it should be part us and part, we own it now, so part us and part U of M. You guys are getting the benefit of the building and the lake. And, that's my opinion.
Through the chair, I agree with Clerk Wright.
Our group, Barb Miller's in it, and we all agree with you too. But we're trying to find where we can.
I could agree with a 1-year lease. Knowing that you're gonna work towards a continuous lease for better use by both parties. And that we have the word from U of M saying they're willing to do something like that.
That's actually what we're asking for, exactly. We're asking for, I'm not sure that we're gonna work this out, but if you give us another year, we may be able to pull it off. But right now, we've got some pretty big differences in where we stand.
Is that the consensus that I'm hearing from both parties?
Yes, we had Fishbeck do a engineering report about the site conditions at the location. There's about roughly $1.2 million worth of site work that needs to go into that site, which is a arguably shared responsibility for the township and U of M. So that was a big impasse because that's a lot of money for the township as well. So we're trying to figure out a way to get those improvements done.
And if we're gonna lose control of the building, we should get something else out of it, like the beach out of it or something.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of money if we're not gonna get any use for it.
Yeah. So now you see our problem, and then you see their problem, because they're like, well, that's a lot of money for a rowing house. So, I'm trying. We've met numerous times, trying to figure it out.
Belleville Lake is a great lake to row on. I don't know how many other lakes you have that's gonna give you that aesthetics that we can. But, yeah, I hope we can get to that point.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I guess I have a motion by trustee Boynton, and I have support from trustee Frazier to sign a one-year extension to the boathouse agreement. Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Michael, thank you very much for coming out. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Director. Next item is number 4, discussion on and to consider approval of a resolution 2023-31 annual exemption opt-out 2024. This is our Blue Cross Blue Shield opt-out for our
Medical coverage.
I need a motion, and this will be a,
Through the chair,
yes.
I make the motion to consider approval of Resolution 2023-31 annual exemption opt-out 2024, which is the opt-out from the hard cap.
Support.
Director, or Deputy Supervisor.
So as stated, this is an annual item that we opt out from PA 152, which Section 8 allows to comply with the act. It's a pretty standard housekeeping item that would normally be put on the consent agenda, but the act requires a 2/3 majority vote of the board. So it's something that we've done on a roll call vote to comply with the act of each year. Otherwise, this would have been a pretty standard consent agenda item. So with
Okay.
that.
Does anybody need any further discussion on this? We do it every year. It's, we have cost control going on very well with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And, okay, I have nothing else to say either. So I have a motion by Clerk Wright, and support by Treasurer Butt. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Oh, you're right, I'm sorry. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll? Required 2/3.
Trustee Boyne? Yes. Trustee Kelly?
Yes.
Trustee Frazier?
Yes.
Trustee Martin is excused. Treasurer Bud?
Yes.
Yes for me, Supervisor?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Next, discussion on to consider approval of a resolution 2333, which is a stormwater maintenance agreement with Subaru Research and Development. Can I get a motion? I'm sorry, say again?
It's on the consent.
Agenda.
It's on the consent.
Oh, sorry.
New number 4, I'll make the motion. I'm number 5, right?
On mine it's number 6, but go ahead, where you at? Go ahead. Alagabi?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Consider approval of Resolution 2023-34, a new Class C quota license for on-premise alcohol consumption of El Agave Bar and Grill LLC, located at 10840 Belleville Road.
Okay.
Support.
Just got it. Thank you. Director?
Okay, thank you, Board. I'm going to put something up just to give you a little bit of background on this request. As mentioned, the applicant is a restaurant titled El Agave. Their business name is El Agave Bar and Grill LLC, and they're requesting a Class C liquor license for on-premise retail service of alcohol at the site that is mentioned in the agenda. Most of the liquor licensing is handled by the state of Michigan, MLCC, but there is a local approval process in Chapter 6 of the Township's Code of Ordinances that is used to provide a basis for consideration of liquor licenses, and there are criteria under Section 639 that are the basis for a set of application materials that need to be provided with a request like this. Those include the name and address of the applicant, other personal information, the citizenship of the applicant, the character of the applicant's business, and the object for which it was formed, if it's a corporation, the length of time they've been in business of that character, the location or the description of the premises, a statement of whether the applicant has operated or made application for another license as described in this application, a statement that the applicant has never been convicted of a felony, a statement that the applicant will not violate laws of the state or the United States or any ordinances of the township or any administrative rules of any regulatory agency, and a statement that the applicant shall be accompanied by building and plot plans showing the entire structure and premises, and in particular, the specific areas where the license is to be utilized. Those submittals were provided in your packet. There's a set of detailed application submittals. We also have Mr. Juan Salinas and Leo Cobian, who will be operating this business in presence tonight. The image that I have on the screen is an example of one of their other restaurants that they've listed as one of their businesses in current operation. This is located in Saline. It's a restaurant titled Miserape. And just some details from their submittals. This would be located in the tenant suite at 10840 Belleville Road, where formerly there was a Crab King. Prior to that, there was Asia Garden. These plans and some other plans to give an idea of the layout of the site were provided with your materials tonight. There's also a floor plan that shows that the prominent use here is for dining area. You can see that there's roughly, just under 1,500 square feet of dining area. The area that is proposed for the bar is only about 177 square feet. So it'll be a typical kind of a bar and grill or grill and bar restaurant layout with alcohol service on site and bathrooms and other miscellaneous areas in the site. The recommendation of staff is to go ahead and consider this. My only comment would be from a planning standpoint is that if this were a proposed use that fundamentally changed the character of this shopping center or the site, it would be routed through the Planning Commission, but in this case, this is basically a remodel of an existing restaurant for one that would serve alcohol on site, so there's really no need for Planning Commission review. But it's again, in the application, it mentions the ratio of food to alcohol sales of being roughly $9 to $1. And so it's a prominently restaurant use in an existing restaurant tenant space. And again, I have two representatives of the business here tonight if you'd like to ask them any questions. But otherwise, there are some detailed materials in your packet you can reference, and I'm also here to answer any questions. One other thing, the township attorney did review this request, and so did the chief of police, and they had no concerns about it.
I'm happy to hear this. Go ahead, anybody?
Well, I guess that's all, that's the only question I have is that, because the township used to handle all the liquor license, and that was all designated to the state. So this is basically, because it's a new Class C quota, they want to make sure all the, everything has been checked and all the I's have been dotted according to what we'll be looking for regarding public safety and our planning. My question is, that it's been a while since I've been in that venue, but has any of the dimensions changed? Is anything inside the area, has anything changed to where the original setup? Kind of looks the same, if I'm not mistaken.
I know there was a remodel 4 or 5 years ago for when Crab King came in, and I don't believe there was any expansion. So I think that the basic area has remained the same. I think they're using that existing area again.
Are they planning, I guess I should ask, are you planning to do anything different inside the area that's not there now? Nothing different? What?
I believe you said different furniture is going to be in
Different
there.
furniture?
Mhm.
Okay. You said you have a business in Saline? Is it in the downtown area?
Can you come up to the?
Yeah, we have a previous restaurant for working for 15 years on Saline, and it's down in a little strip mall. So we recently also opened a business on Ypsilanti too on Carpenter Road, and that one has been operating for 1 year. So we just want to keep growing up. We decide Van Buren to come.
I think I've been in the one in Saline, that's why I was asking. if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
You said it's in the strip mall, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Boynton?
I've got, this is probably more so for the planning commission side, but the entire packet was given to us, so I'm going to shoot these out to you real quick, okay? Number 3 on my list, you may want to take a look at the parking as far as for disabled persons. I know we have a pretty good community of disabled persons, and this here certainly looks like a place where they will go to and eat. I see the hours you have in here is from 11 to 6, if I can find it real fast. 11 to 6 Monday through Thursday, and basically the same hours on Friday and Saturday. You're going to be in contention. There's only 9 reserved spaces for that entire area. So you might want to jot that down and write that down. You may need a few more because you're going to be in competition from 11 a.m. until, let's say 5 o'clock. You only have 9 spots there. And from some of the investigations that I did, 2 persons were parked in 2 of the spots already. So you may need to look at expanding that, okay? That's food number 3. Number 2, you have listed as far as some of the things that you're going to have done, you know, like the interior walls will be painted, the flooring will be partially replaced as it needs to, the plumbing, electricity, so on, new furniture. But you have listed as far as the sprinkler system. The sprinkler system will be inspected, and that's it. Let's expand on that a little bit more along with the other bullet points that you have, okay? You know, you're gonna have new equipment to be installed, new kitchen equipment to be installed, new bar area to be set up. Let's make sure that we express exactly what we're going to do with the sprinkler system. You know, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have someone just come in and look at it and say, okay, we're done. I'm confident of that. But that's, again, that's point number 2. However, point number 1, there's going to be a hard stop on that, and that is under the paperwork for the Michigan LARA, the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. On your address, you're listed as being in Belleville, Michigan. You're not in Belleville, Michigan. You're in Van Buren Charter Township.
Fix that.
You're going to have to fix that.
That's a must.
For me, and hearing from the
Yeah,
board,
that could stop everything.
is going to stop everything in its tracks. So you're going to have to resubmit the paperwork and change that to Van Buren Charter Township of Van Buren, just Van Buren Township. But that's got to change. Hard stop on that. Other than that, I welcome you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I could address one of the questions about the suppression system, if you'd like me to. With a new business that comes into the township, there's a process that we're trying to formalize more and more, where we will have what's called a use change or new business walkthrough inspection involving the fire marshal and building officials. So that's in process as we speak, and I don't know that there's going to be any change to the overall suppression system, but each hood for each kitchen equipment will require its own hood suppression system, and that will be closely evaluated. So very good question.
Just change the wording other than just inspected. You know, just have it match. I'm sure you and the planning commission will take care of that.
Okay, thank you.
Clerk?
And could we ensure that going forward that we check this paperwork and make sure that it says Van Buren Charter Township? I asked that from you, your department, and the planning commission. Going forward, it's gonna be an automatic no for me, anything that says Belleville. And nothing against Belleville. It's just the idea that this is Van Buren Township. I get tired of hearing on the news that we live in Belleville. plane can crash in Belleville, but, Van Buren Township.
And that was an administrative oversight. The planning commission has actually not looked at this, so that was our department.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we correct that.
Can we correct that?
There's no,
Can we correct a Laura document
I think they'll have to do that.
licensing?
my understanding, this is, the LARA form is the form that is the standard document that LARA uses to process the local approval of a request like this. There's a resolution in your packet that also backs this up, that provides a basis for your decision, that I believe can be used as a backup for that approval. And they would just need to resubmit this paperwork, and it would have to be signed by the clerk and the supervisor after the meeting, or the clerk after the meeting.
We can do that.
Through the chair. They should be able to change it online. I think it's a $5 fee when they log in and change it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can change it online for $5. Take the name Belleville off and put Van Buren on. All right. Hearing no further discussion on this, right?
Right.
Okay, so I've got a motion by Clerk Wright that's supported by Trustee Kelly for El Agave's Bar and Grill. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Oppose? This motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Welcome. You guys don't have to stick around. You're all set. You won. We're looking forward to it. When can you open?
Probably next year.
Okay. Next year, like January or June?
Yeah, by
Okay.
the end of January,
Okay,
before Valentine's Day.
okay, got it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, next item is discussion on to consider approval of a revocable license with the Van Buren Little League. Can I get a motion and read it, please?
Through the chair? I move to consider approval of the revocable license and operating agreement between the Charter Township of Van Buren and Van Buren Little League for the use of Beck Road ball fields.
Okay. Frazier. Thank you. Director.
Hello and good evening. Back again talking about recreation. Just so much fun. So thank you for having me tonight to talk about our agreement with V-Ball, Van Buren Area Little League. We've been in agreement with this group since at least 2013. This agreement has not been looked at or revised from 2016. So what we're doing tonight is we're looking at an agreement that's been previously passed by this board. The form agreement was reviewed by the township attorney and our MMRMA with input from both professional groups, as well as that of the Director of Recreation, myself, and the Director of Community Services to revise and update this agreement. There haven't been a lot of changes in this agreement. We wanted to take a look at it. A couple of the main changes that we have made, along with the supervisor's office, was to change the term of the agreement. In the past, it was a year-to-year agreement, and we decided that we have a great relationship with V-Ball. We wanted to continue, so we have this as an open-ended agreement. As always, this agreement can be changed or terminated by either side, by either party at any time, but we wanted to keep this ongoing with V-Ball. There were some other small changes. We added the reasons that people shall not be discriminated against to include sexual orientation, gender identification, disability, weight, marital status, or as otherwise provided in federal and state anti-discrimination laws. A statement was added that Van Buren Township is not responsible for any loss, theft, or damage to any personal property, equipment that V-Ball may store or use at Beck Fields. Another passage was added that states V-Ball is solely responsible for maintaining a safe environment for its youth participants and acknowledges that the township is not involved in V-Ball's operation and is not involved in V-Ball's activities, services, and programs, other than providing access to Beck Fields pursuant to the terms of this agreement. Other things in the agreement that we have changed is in the past, we have asked for all kinds of documents from V-Ball. We wanted their rosters, we wanted their schedules, we wanted the documents that showed that their coaches had been through training, background checks. We still require that VBEL do all of this type of background, have these documents on hand, and that they are available to Van Buren Township if we ever need to see them. It was recommended through MMRMA that VBEL hold on to their own documents and that we do not house them. It is felt that if we're housing another entity's documents, that we are then transferring the risk associated with those documents to us. Since VBEL is their own organization and they're sanctioned through Little League, that they are required to maintain those documents and then make them available to us if we ever need to see anything like that. So that's the agreement that's before you tonight. We ask that the township supervisor and clerk execute the agreement and approve that tonight.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on our Little League Baseball
Yeah,
contract?
one. Who is the current president? He still?
Yes. Mhm.
Forever.
Is he here tonight? He's not here?
He was not able to be here. He's very dedicated to Beck Fields and to the Little League program that we have here at Van Buren Township.
He's amazing. Anybody have any questions? Okay, I've got a motion by trustee Kelly, supported by trustee Frazier. Hearing no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Moving on, next item is to consider approval of the Haggerty Road water main design by Fishbeck.
Through the chair,
Thank you, trustee Boynton.
move that we approve of the Haggerty Road, E-course to Van Born Road, water main design service by Fishbeck.
Support.
Okay.
Director Lawrence.
This is to provide professional engineer service for the water main portion of Haggerty Road from Ecorse to Van Born in conjunction with Wayne County Reconstruction Project in the amount of $252,620. This will include preliminary engineering phase, design phase, bidding phase service for the anticipated construction for 2023-2024. This will be paid from the Capital System Improvement Fund. I just wanted to say that this section here is AC pipe. The replacement will upgrade it to 16-inch main. Currently, that AC pipe was put in the 1960s. We only have approximately 11 years of service left in that water main. So I think this would be a great idea to have Fishbeck do the engineering design for the water main.
Any questions?
When is the road being repaired?
Say again?
When is the road being repaired? When are they starting it?
I know the answer, but go ahead.
I think the water main portion will be done first, and then that usually takes, I guess, up to 5 months, and then I think the road would follow that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Somewhat.
Ms.
Ron, could you come up?
Good evening. So Haggerty Road was put out to bid earlier in the summer through Wayne County. It's been working its way through its procurement and legal processes. Actually, the contract was finally approved by the Wayne County Commission last week. So we've had preliminary discussions with the road construction engineers. They're looking at potentially starting construction either towards the end of this month or sometime early in December. We're still getting specific dates scheduled, but it should be starting prior to the end of the year.
But it won't be done till the end of
But
next
you gotta,
year.
but you gotta put the water main down first, right?
Yes, so the way the project was bid out, the water main was included with the road construction portion. So there's one contractor who's gonna be doing the road and installing the water main. But they are gonna do the water main work first.
So you're right, about 5 months. Okay.
Discussions. Anybody else? No? No? Okay, I got a motion by trustee Boynton, supported by trustee Frazier. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, directors. Okay, next item is to consider approval of a purchase of a standby generator at the Harmony Lane Lift Station and the water tower. Can I get a motion for this?
Through the chair.
Treasurer Bud?
I make a motion we approve the purchase of standby generators for the Harmony Lift Station and the water tower from the Capital Outlay Facilities Improvement Fund in the amount of $40,800.
Support.
Right? Okay, Director Lawrence.
I'm sorry, there's a correction on that. This is actually for approval to provide professional engineering service for Harmony Lane Station and for the water tower. Harmony Lane currently has a generator there, which is 22 years old. The life expectancy is 25 to 30 years old. So we want to replace that. So I would like Fishbeck to do the design for the replacement of it. And as far as the water tower, there is not a generator there. So I would like to have a generator placed there because our SCADA system that actually shows our pressures throughout the township is connected to that. So if we lose power, we do not know what's going on with our water system as well as our lift stations.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Sense to me.
Say that again, the motion then is to approve the engineering services of Fishback for the Harmony Lane Lift Station.
Correct.
And to place a generator at the water tower.
That's
What
correct.
the motion should now say? Yes. At the same cost.
That's for just the engineering design. So they're gonna design the generator that's gonna go at the water tower, and they're gonna design the new one that's gonna go at Harmony Lane.
Okay.
It's just,
gotcha.
yeah.
All right, so I would correct that motion.
Okay, and the clerk, Wright, would you approve the correction?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna come up with a couple questions, because I read it the way it said. We already did engineering for a generator at the water tower, didn't we?
Not on my term, no.
Ron, you know what I'm talking about, right? Didn't we design a generator system for the water tower?
Good evening, Board. My name is Paul Kamer with Fishbeck. The design, we did not, there was not an inclusion of a generator when we did the fuel tank design. That was what was designed out at the water tower, but there was never a generator included in that design of the fuel tank system.
Okay.
There was some electrical improvements that would have come with that, but nothing with a generator.
Okay, I thought there was, okay. We need, well, we found if we don't have a lift station, Harmony Lane is a low point. So you need a lift station. And with the 400-year rain we got, even that, and Director Lawrence called in 2 vac trucks to help the pump, and the vac trucks suck stuff out as fast as they could to keep everything from flooding. So the generator's nearing its life expectancy. Should it go out, it's not a question of if a home is going to be flooded out. It's going to be a question of how many. So that's that one. And as for the water tower, we've been talking about doing it for 3 years, but it's not cheap. So we fill it right now based on pressure from DWSD coming in, right? And should there be a problem with DWSD's pressure, we would not be able to fill it. Is that correct?
Know if our system is down.
We wouldn't even know if our system was down. Okay. So I'm going back 3 years on that one.
I would say we need one.
Okay. So is there any questions? Okay, hearing no further questions, a little lost there. I have a motion by Treasurer Bud, supported by Clerk Wright. No further questions. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I'm sorry, I was on the mess. I thought for sure that we had that done. All right.
Through the chair.
Clerk Wright.
I'd like to consider approval of the authorization of 2 agreements with DTE Energy for the installation of street lighting within the Walden Woods subdivision Phase 4 and Phase 5.
Support.
Okay. Director?
Good evening. Before you this evening are two agreements between DTE and the township to install 10 streetlights in phases 4 and 5 of the Walden Woods subdivision. The township has been in discussion with the Walden Woods HOA and the original developer regarding some outstanding obligations in the original development agreement and the remaining vacant parcels in the subdivision. One of those obligations is the installation of streetlights in phases 4 and 5. For several years, the township has held back issuing building permits for the last few lots in the development until the developer had met certain requirements of the original development agreement, including the installation of streetlights. After discussion with the HOA and the original developer, we have come to an understanding of how and when these items will be addressed. To meet this streetlight requirement, the developer was required to deposit the upfront costs that DTE requires to install these streetlights with the township. The township would then enter into agreement with DTE, which is what we're doing tonight, to install the lighting and work with the HOA to establish a special assessment district to cover the street lighting operating costs. There will not be any net costs to the township for this project. We have received the funds from the developer to cover these upfront costs, and we will recover the streetlight operational costs through special assessment districts that will be created at a future date. The township has been in communication with the homeowners association regarding the design and layout of the streetlights, as well as laying out the initial processes to establish a special assessment district. And we will commit to continue to stay in communication with them throughout the process. These agreements before you have been reviewed by our township attorney and have been recommended for authorization. This concludes my summary, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, my take on it is, after 7 years of hearing this every single year from Walden Woods, back when all the developers went out of business, Walden Woods developer didn't go out of business, but he almost went out of business. But he didn't put in all the streetlights like he was supposed to. We have refused to allow them to build on any of their additional lots until they satisfy the streetlight issue. They finally have agreed, after 6 years of this argument, to finish the streetlights in Walden Wood, and then we will allow them to build out the rest of their sub. So that's what that is about. Any questions? Hearing none, I'm gonna go. We have a motion by Clerk Wright, supported by Trustee Boynton. Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Next item is reports. We have none. Finally, we're down to public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to make comment at this board? Mr. McAnally?
I messed up and didn't do it under the communications at the beginning, so I apologize.
That's
Good morning,
right.
good evening, board. I wasn't sure until spoke to my captain today that we actually have enough personnel to do it, but we're doing a training burn Sunday at Ashley Capital Property on Haggerty Road. The city of Belleville, city of Ypsilanti, and Rimus have all committed to sending some new fire personnel to that as well. So we're going to be working together this Sunday and actually do some training on 2 houses. So if there's any smoke reported in the area, training burn, we're actually doing it the right way. So.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Ashley Capitals wanted to remove those houses for a while. They finally found a way. Director Coburn.
Good evening, Board. I just wanted to remind everyone of next week's Light Up the Park event that'll take place at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, November 15th. We'll have hot chocolate and sweet treats to hand out. Those will be free. The Belleville Community Choir will be there to provide music. And then each participant will also be, it's interactive, so everyone will have something to help light up. So I just want to invite everyone. I know parking can be a challenge. However, Romerica Park Real Estate says we can use their lot. We have the park. We have Aldi. We have plenty of places along that side of the road that we have those sidewalks that can get you there. So it'll be a nice event to light up the park. Hope to see you there.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to make a comment? Deputy Supervisor Sullivan, do I have anybody online?
No, nobody online for the Public Participation League Supervisor.
Thank you. Does the board want to make any comment? No? No? Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Get a motion by Boynton,
Support.
support by Frazier. Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Okay. That actually went a lot faster than I thought it was going to go.